I have read the Daniel 2020 textbook in its entirety. One ethical principle that has harmonized with me throughout this process is justice. So, as cited in Daniel 2020, the American Council Association defines justice as treating individuals equitably and fostering fairness and equality. So, being a criminal justice professor as well as a criminal justice major, we are taught things different regarding justice. African Americans are more likely to be incarcerated than Caucasians. People who have lower socioeconomic statuses are more likely to get arrested based on their lack of money and resources, as well as people who have money are able to get lawyers. And sometimes they're able to afford the best lawyers versus a public defender, which allows them to be able to get a lesser jail sentence, probation, or not have to spend any jail time, pay a fine, or anything at all. So justice in the criminal justice system can be kind of skewed. But however, when it comes to counseling and justice, none of this matters. Each client should be treated fairly and equitably, and everybody should be given a fair chance. Also, within the criminal justice system, you will have some judges who may not necessarily deliver justice because of a client's past. Someone who has committed a lot of crimes, someone who keeps coming to court and violating their probation if they are on that, or if they do not complete their sentence. Also, there are family members who may not receive justice through the criminal justice system due to lack of evidence, criminal procedure errors, police investigation errors, or if there's a hung jury. But like I said, when it comes to the justice of counseling, none of this matters. You don't look at anybody's gender or their race or their socioeconomic status. Everybody should be treated the same and be treated fairly, regardless who they are. One Bible verse that comes to mind is when Jesus was dying on the cross in Matthew 27:46. He said, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? So God was crying out to the Father, asking, why are these people doing these things to me? And so as a client, as a counselor, we have to ensure that our client, knows that they are not in this process alone, that we are here to help them. Oftentimes, when defendants are in trouble within the criminal justice system, they feel alone. They don't know who they can talk to, they don't know who they can trust. And like I stated earlier, based on their socioeconomic status and sometimes their gender and their race, they may feel like they are served an injustice or discriminated against based on those things. But as counseling services, we do not do all those. It is our responsibility as a counselor to bear the cross along with our client. So, one moral that remains a conflict with me is veracity. So, while life is unpredictable, God is faithful and God is true. And the textbook references infidelity in a marriage. And that's one of the greatest hurts that anyone can experience because the person that you loved and that you trusted the most can no longer be trusted, and you gave them your heart, and now they have broken it. And so, when I give a demonstration of trust, it's like having a piece of paper and balling it up. And once you have balled up that piece of paper and crinkled it, no matter how many times you straighten it out or iron it out or anything like that, it will never go back to being the same. Trust is the same way. And so that's something that you have to build on. And so while counselors may have the skills and the knowledge to be able to get a person to that point to help build up their character, the only person who can really change them is God. And so trust is something that I believe everybody has to work on. I'm one of those people. If I don't trust you, pretty much, we don't have anything because I'm not going to keep looking over my shoulder or worrying about if you're talking about me or if you're telling the truth or what may have you. I just don't have time for it. So that's one of the things that is still working within myself. But according to Cherry 2024, lying is a common part of human behavior. So kids lie to keep from getting in trouble, and adults also lie to keep from getting in trouble. That's how people end up in the criminal justice system. But people also lie to protect their feelings, and it can also be used as a coping mechanism or a defense mechanism. So, in order to prevent lying, the counselor has to create a space where the client can feel comfortable being themselves and expressing their needs. And Cherry also says that clients also have to acknowledge the impact that lying can have on a relationship. So, lying can disrupt trust and closeness. And if it is persistent, maybe the counselor can use client can use lying as a root basis in therapy to get down to it and figure out why is this person lying all the time. Okay. And they can start working on that issue in court. Not in court, excuse me, in counseling. So processing these emotions can help the client become self-aware, and they will be able to engage in a therapeutic process when it comes to counseling.